Hey there, welcome. I'm Gretchen, otherwise known as G. I always wear my G necklace. And I got to tell you, I felt like I did everything right growing up and through my adulthood. I got good grades. I had multiple college degrees. I was a competitive college athlete. I was the good kid, and I took a full time job in my field of study before I even graduated with my bachelor's degree. Like I was the picture of success, right? Did it all right. And I was moving along in my life, met my hunky dunky husband, bought our dream house, never settled for like the starter house, had the dream house, had fancy cars in the driveway, had good jobs, both of us moving up in the world, had our kids exactly when we wanted them. I was like, check, 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 checking all the boxes. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, like something was missing. I wanted more. I wanted to actually like my life. I wanted to be happy. But I kept telling myself my expectations were too high and life was just supposed to be this way. I told myself that I should just be happy with what I have. And so I spent the next 20 years in my speech therapy practice pretty much daydreaming about the life that I could have, daydreaming about the life that I wanted to have, and wondering how to get there. And I also was wondering what was wrong with me. And then I thought, okay, then I'll get a new job, then I'll move up in the world, hoping that it would be the answer to what I was searching for. And it would work for a while, but I only found myself feeling the exact same way in 6 months to a year. And so 6 jobs later and one attempt at network marketing, I still looked around at my life and thought, like, is this really it? Like, this is it? I did it all right. I worked so hard. I was the good girl. And here I am. Like, this is where we get. And I got to tell you, none of it felt like the life that I really, truly, deeply wanted. None of it was inspiring to me. None of it was making me happy. None of it was energizing me. I just was like, oh my God, this is like such a drag. It was hard and I was tired and I was lonely. I don't know about you, but I have never been so lonely inside my own life. I could be in a room full of people with my husband, with our kids, and just lonely. I couldn't shake it until I got to tell you, one day I just couldn't take it any longer. And I couldn't ignore these like deep inner feelings of loneliness and frustration and fatigue, while like knowing in the back of my head, like I was meant for more, right? I was meant for so much more than these jobs that gave me like 10 to 15 PTO days off per year and left me basically scraping by each month. I was making good money, but not enough. I had no passion for the work I was doing. I was just simply surviving. And I got to tell you, I couldn't ignore the feeling that I was wasting my time and living my life on this like hamster wheel that just kept turning and turning and turning. And I knew something had to change. And you know what? The world has a way of doing that for us. Our bodies have a way of doing that for us. So in full transparency, on a cold February afternoon, I had a complete and total breakdown, curled on the floor, on the cold wooden floor in my office. I was pretty much vacillating between sobbing and staring off into space like non-responsive. I had broken. I was broke. And I could see that I was living a lifestyle that just sucked the joy and the energy and the life right out of me. I was so sucked dry and so maxed, and I wanted a life that was energizing me and inspiring and adding to instead of sucking away from me. And I knew that something had to change. I was imploding and it was not good. So I started researching human behavior and the brain and ways to change. Like, how do we actually change? Right? Because I was going, other than therapy and medication, because I was doing both of those and those were proving to not be effective for me. And I got to tell you, I was like, some people figure this shit out. Like, some people figure out, like, this isn't working. This is what I want. This is what I have to do. But I got to tell you, like, I wasn't finding that. I was going out and looking for the help and it wasn't working. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to town on figuring out us humans, how we work, what makes us do what we do or do what we don't want to do, what makes us tick, what makes some people be able to change and some people not. I wanted to figure out our human brains and our human behavior. And so I went to town on it. I went to Harvard, went back to school, went to Harvard to figure this stuff out. I got some other certifications and I stumbled on this woman and her podcast who said she was a life coach. And I was like, what's a life coach? I have never heard of that before, right? I was like, I have no idea what a life coach is, but I will tell you when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So I listened to her and I knew I had to hear more. So I literally consumed her content and then I purchased her group program and eventually I scheduled a consultation and with her for one-on-one group coach or one-on-one sessions. And I got to tell you, I walked away from that consultation scared shitless to hire her for one-on-one coaching, but I knew I would because when we were on that consultation, it was like she was inside my brain. She knew exactly what was going on with me. And so I hired her because I knew my only options were stay where I was and keep doing the same things that weren't working and making me so unhappy, or make a different decision to go for what I wanted. And within 3 months of working with her, I had changed my life so dramatically that I knew coaching was what I had been searching for myself this whole time and for my work in the world. I was like, I'm meant to do this. I am meant to help other women figure this out. I'm meant to do this work for you, other women. So I started my coaching business and I knew I could help people because of how I had changed my own life first. I grew my coaching business while I was working at my life-sucking job. And within 6 months, I had fixed myself. I had fixed my marriage. I had started feeling better. I replaced my salary from coaching and left. And 6 months later, I hit even higher levels, changing people's lives, doing what I loved with total control over myself and my life, which, by the way, is total freedom and confidence. People are like, I want your confidence, Gretchen. I'm like, oh, well, you just have to know. It's like no secret. You just haven't been taught. You have to know how to have control over yourself and your life. I knew I could go after whatever I wanted. I knew exactly how to do it and how to stay on course when life happened. I was finally living that life that I dreamed of. I was so happy and I was so fulfilled and I was so energized and I was so inspired and I still am. Today, I am in my 7th year in business. I am married to my soulmate and best friend. And I fixed that because I was self-destructing and imploding all over the place. Our marriage was on the brinks. We have our 2 boys that I adore and I enjoy and I laugh with. I have a healthy body. I have freedom to enjoy my life and live on my terms and work on my terms and help people like you get the same thing. And I got to tell you, I have helped hundreds of women create their version of life where they are in control. They wake up more at peace. They are inspired. They're clear, and they know they are in charge of their lives. And as a result, they're having so much more fun and they're living such better, higher quality lives. And you know what happens when you show up for yourself? The way you show up for other people blows anything you've done to this point out of the water. And I got to tell you, I want that for you too. That's exactly why I created Better Life Coach Approach, LLC, because listen up, the key to creating everything you want, the key to creating everything you want is having control and mastery over you, yourself. It's knowing exactly how to manage you and your own behavior instead of us out there trying to control others. It's about getting the things you want and living the way you imagined you would when you were little and you talked about when I grow up, and it's about knowing exactly how to get it. Listen, you're not here by accident. You signed up for my newsletter. Welcome to the team. You are meant to be free and inspired and happy too. And I am happy to do that with you. Talk soon. Bye.